The sun had barely risen when Officer Mark Jennings pulled into the station with his partner, a German shepherd named Rex, sitting silently in the back seat of the patrol SUV. Rex was no ordinary dog. He had served for 6 years on the force, had tracked missing persons, sniffed out drugs, and even saved a fellow officer from a knife attack. But lately, Mark had started hearing whispers that Rex was too old, too worn out for the job. What they didn't know was that Rex still had one more mission left in him. One that would shake the town of Fairgrove to its core. And it would start, as many terrible things do, with a child no one was paying enough attention to. It was a warm spring morning when the call came in. A routine shift at the elementary school. Standard K-9 patrol. Officers rotated through the school each week, letting the kids meet the dogs, giving parents peace of mind, and keeping potential threats in check. Mark didn't mind the assignment. In fact, he liked it. It gave Rex a break from the rougher work, and the kids adored him. Rex, despite his size and power, had a gentle side. Especially with children. That day, Mark pulled into the school parking lot like any other morning. As soon as Rex's paws hit the ground, his ears perked up. His tail didn't wag like it usually did. Instead, he stood still, staring at the rear entrance of the building. "What's up, buddy?" Mark asked, kneeling beside him. Rex let out a low growl. It was subtle. Controlled. But Mark knew that sound well. It wasn't aggression, it was a warning. Still, nothing seemed out of place. The janitor was hauling in supplies. A couple of parents were dropping off their kids. A woman in a beige van waved at the security guard as she drove past the checkpoint. Everything looked normal. But Rex didn't move. He stared at the van. And barked. Mark made a note of the license plate. Just in case. Then he gave Rex the command to heel and they entered the school. Inside, the atmosphere was cheerful. Children played in the halls. Teachers greeted them by name. Principal Harris was waiting at the front office, smiling. "Morning, Officer Jennings. You and Rex ready to make some kids happy?" Mark nodded, giving a casual salute. "Always." The next hour passed quickly, classroom visits, a safety talk in the gym, and the usual round of high fives and tail wags. But through it all, Rex remained tense. Alert. His eyes constantly scanning, his ears flicking at every small sound. Mark noticed it. And started to worry. After the school day began in full, Mark and Rex walked the grounds one last time before heading out. That's when Rex suddenly pulled hard on the leash, dragging Mark toward the back lot. "What is it?" Mark asked, now running behind him. Rex stopped near the utility shed. Sniffed the air. And growled again. Mark looked around. The lot was empty, except for the beige van parked awkwardly near the fence. The same one from earlier. It was idling. Windows tinted. Rex growled louder. Mark's instincts kicked in. He called it in a suspicious and approached the van. That's when it sped off. The van was found 15 minutes later by patrol units 2 blocks away. Empty. No driver. But the back doors were unlocked. Inside, they found duct tape, rope, and children's clothing. And something worse. A list of names. Students. Ages. Classes. Dismissal times. One name had a red circle around it, Lily Anders. Age 9. Mark's stomach turned. Lily was a quiet girl. The kind who didn't speak up much. A little behind in reading, always sitting at the edge of the group. Her parents were going through a divorce, and lately, her father hadn't been showing up when he said he would. She was supposed to be picked up by her aunt that day. But something didn't add up. Mark raced back to the school, Rex beside him, every second stretching longer than the last. He found Principal Harris in a panic, teachers checking the classrooms, the intercom echoing, "Lily Anders, please report to the front office." But she didn't respond. Her classroom was empty. So was the bathroom. And then Rex caught a scent. It led them to the west stairwell, down into the basement where the storage rooms were. Rex barked, sharply, urgently, at the third door. Mark didn't wait. He kicked it open. And there she was. Lily. Eyes wide with fear. Mouth taped shut. Hands bound. A man in a school janitor uniform was halfway out the rear window, trying to escape. Rex leapt. It happened in seconds. The man screamed as Rex dragged him back, powerful jaws gripping his arm. Mark rushed in, cuffing the suspect while calling for backup. Lily sobbed. But she was safe. She was safe because Rex had known something no one else did. He had smelled danger. He had trusted his instincts. And he hadn't given up. In the days that followed, the town of Fairgrove was shaken. The man was not a real janitor. He was part of a child trafficking ring that had been operating across state lines, targeting children from vulnerable families, those with distracted parents, custody battles, or poor attendance records. Lily had been watched for weeks. No one noticed. Except Rex. The story made headlines. Police dog saves girl from kidnapping. Hero K9 prevents trafficking tragedy. But for Mark, it was personal. He'd trusted Rex with his life countless times, but that day, Rex had proven just how deep that trust ran. Rex was awarded a Medal of Valor. The mayor declared a Rex Day in the town. The school installed better security and background checks were doubled. But what stayed with people the most was what Lily said in an interview. With small hands still trembling, she looked at the camera and whispered, "I was so scared. But then I heard barking. And I knew someone was coming for me." Today, Rex is retired. He lives with Mark and his family. His children treat Rex like royalty. Lily visits sometimes. She brings treats and cards. She always hugs Rex first before speaking to anyone else. Mark often watches her pet the old dog with gentle hands, and he thinks about how close they came to losing her. All because someone underestimated a dog's instincts. But not Mark. The lesson? Instincts matter. Silence can speak volumes. And loyalty is not just a trait, it's a lifeline. Because when no one else was looking, Rex was. And because of him, a little girl gets to grow up. Because of him, her life was saved. And that is the legacy of a true hero.